morning. I think we can do better than that. Y'all have already had some coffee. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Oh, that was beautiful. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We are very excited to kick off One Night Cups with each of you this morning. If you have not done so, please make sure you download the app and check in. So for those of you who are new and you're wondering, why do we have an app? What is this all about? 1 Million Cups is part of the Kaufman Foundation. It's a national organization and nonprofit that seeks to grow businesses and entrepreneurs through meetings like this. There are over 160 chapters, and every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m. we meet, we have coffee, we hear from a business owner who presents one business challenge, and then we give lots of feedback, ask lots of great questions. This is all done constructively, so no need to be stressed or worried. We always give thoughtful, positive feedback. You have index cards in front of you. Feel free to capture your ideas if you haven't had a chance to ask a question, just so you don't forget. Feel free to also put your name, phone number, email, whatever you would like to share with Sean, our speaker today, in case he has a follow-up question. I'm sure our handwriting is all beautiful, but just in case he wants to follow up or maybe even meet with you, that would be really helpful. So as we go through, just to get you up to date on the agenda. So we will kick off with our sponsors just for a few minutes, and then we'll have Sean speak 6 to 8 minutes, and then we'll spend about 40 minutes giving him feedback and asking questions. Logistics-wise, as I mentioned, please make sure you check in on the app. That is what helps provide our group funding and lets the national level at the Kaufman Foundation know how awesome our group is, because we are the best in the galaxy. What I would say, please make sure you follow us. We are on LinkedIn, we're on Facebook, we're on Instagram, and we're also on Twitter. If any of you have events or things you want to share or interesting insights for entrepreneurs, feel free to share them in our groups. We would love to have that. So, for our sponsors, we have an amazing space sponsor. Sylvia, would you come up? Or John? You're flipping coins.
Go, Sylvia, go.
Go, Sylvia.
Or should I say you?
All right. Hi, my name is Sylvia Ferguson, and I'm the Business Center Manager of Office Evolution. And so just to give you my elevator speech, we have shared offices, business addresses, private offices, and also conference rooms. So if you guys need any of that, just reach out to me and I'll give you a tour. Thank you. My name is Sylvia Ferguson.
We also have coffee sponsors for the month. You too can be a coffee sponsor. This one's coffee sponsor, John Refer from CCC Solutions.
Thank you. So it's fun to be a coffee sponsor. You get to give a blurb in front of a great group of people. So at CCC, we help our clients overcome follow-up fatigue. We all have to follow up a million different ways. One of our clients, a nonprofit, is bringing the golf industry to the underserved population. And their biggest challenge was following up with donors from past years. So we created an automation. Show me all donors that gave in 2018. Did they give in 2019? If the answer is no, they immediately became subject to a series of very encouraging emails and texts that go to them. 2019's contributions is now double 2018. That's in the nonprofit world. It's all about converting leads to sales. John Rittenberg, CCC Solutions. Become a coffee sponsor. It's a great way to promote yourself. Thank you so much.
I would love to tell you, if you are a coffee sponsor, you would have hair like John's. But that's not a guarantee. Maybe we can give you some ideas and feedback as well. So not only is this not possible without our sponsors, it's definitely not possible without our organizers. So if the 1 Million Cups organizers can come out, that would be great. You too can be an organizer. It's lots of fun. We all like each other. We all work well together and collaborate. And we get to see each other every Wednesday morning.
Russ McIntosh, Vision Ideas.
Oh yeah, forward to we're out of the light.
Jen Dalton, brand mayor.
John Rittenberg, CCC Solutions.
Donnell Johnson, Vision Worldwide Coaching.
Tony Barnett, End Goal Resources.
John Yu, Office Evolution. Laura Drain and Neil Shuckers. Laura Drain from Random Force Market.
Yeah. We like channeling each other.
Yay!
So the moment you have all been waiting for. Very excited to have Sterling Brooke here presenting today. Sean is going to come and wow us for the next 6 to 8 minutes, and then we'll ask lots of questions and help him with his business.
So I've given up on having hair like John. All right. So real brief history of myself and my wife. I retired as a chiropractic physician about 15 years in December of last year. And my wife and I are also full-time in real estate. So we know the service industry. We're pretty good at running businesses in the service industry, but we just kind of accidentally ended up with a product-based business. So we're kind of figuring this out as we go. And what we do at Sterling Brooke is we design products primarily that are stainless steel and white oak, and we carve artwork into the wood handles of these products. So oyster shuckers, pocket knives, wine openers, and then we're expanding into some other products as well. So the way we got started in 2012, my wife went into a store. And she found a wine opener that had a wood-based handle. And she wanted to do something with it. So Father's Day came around, she couldn't figure out what to get me. So she bought this wine opener from the store and hand-drawn a design into it. So it was a great customized Father's Day gift for me. We still have that original piece. And we had some friends that came over and saw it and told her she should start putting it on Etsy. So in 2013, she started putting them on the Etsy website. And every time she got an order, she would run to the store and buy one and come home, design it, and send it out. So we did that, and at the end of that first year, I asked her, I said, so how much did you do in sales? And she told me how much she had done in sales, and I was like, there might be something here. So in 2014, I had her make up about 6 of them, and we put them in a cigar wine box and went door to door to wine stores, and I started trying to establish wholesale accounts. We did that, we had some success with it. 2015, we began attending wholesale trade shows, again, just with this one product, and we were buying it retail, and we were doing the handwork on it. And we did some holiday retail shows, and we had a pretty successful year in 2015. So in 2016, we decided to start designing our own products, manufacturing our own products, and streamlining the manufacturing process. So we've been doing that for now about 3 years. As of 2019, we're at about 1,000 retailers nationwide, and we attend 5 to 10 retail shows per year. So that's kind of how we've step-by-step grown into this. The way that we work is, my wife is actually the designer. She's the brain behind all this, the creative. She'll do the design work of the product, or she'll join up with a curator, or she'll curate products. So for example, we were at a retail show and we met a 3rd-generation blacksmith out of North Carolina, and we teamed up with him, and she designed a chef knife set, and he makes them by hand for us to order. So we either manufacture and design our own products, or we curate from other artists. Once we get the product made, we get it into our corporate headquarters in Florida. And when we have products that we are customizing, like these down here, then we put the artwork on the handles and the wood. So we have some manufacturing that occurs overseas for products such as this, and then we have product manufacturing that occurs in the States when we get it from other artists. Products come in Florida, we do the final artwork on it, and then we ship out of Florida to wherever the end customer is, whether it's a retailer or a retail customer. Okay, so that's our basic business model. So our client, what we've kind of fallen into is that we are kind of the women that are looking for unique men's gifts are the ones that are typically our basic client. The way they find us, again, is through the retailers that we work with. Retailers like Tommy Bahama, Uncommon Goods, Touch of Modern, Ruger, the Grommet, those are some of our bigger clients. And then we're in a lot of different individual boutiques throughout the country. We also do some custom corporate gift work. So we'll work with banks or large corporations, large law firms that have corporate retreats and they have gifts that they want to give. So we'll do corporate branding for them. A lot of weddings and a lot of groomsmen's gifts. So that's a big market that we have kind of found ourselves falling into. We do a lot of realtor closing gifts. You know, when you buy a house, you get a bottle of wine with a nice wine opener that's customized, so it makes a great gift for that. And then special days such as graduation, birthdays, Father's Day, anniversaries, just all of these different special days when you want to give that gift, either customized or just unique to somebody's interest. So for example, our pocket knives, you know, we can put names on it. We'll do different interests. If we have people that are into horses, we have a horse design. We have fish designs, obviously, fish pocket knives. We do all kinds of different design work on the wood that we consider our catalog collections. So I feel like what makes this unique is we design every product that we bring in to be an heirloom quality product. We want it to be something that can be handed down generation to generation. So these are not cheap wine openers. They are solid, they are rugged, they have a lifetime guarantee on them. We'll replace it if anything goes wrong with it. Same thing with our pocket knives, same thing with all of our tools that we make. So we want to create, in a world where it's difficult to find unique men's gifts, we offer heirloom quality that is classy and rugged and perfect for the field or home. So even our chef's knife set, we deliver it in a leather wrap. It's 2 knives. We deliver it in a leather wrap, so you can throw it in your backpack and take it out with you and use it, in the field if you need to. So it's designed to be rugged yet classic, is what our goal is. All right, so our basic product line, we have a small pocket knife, which you can see on the initial one was my son. He's 8 years old, holding it in his hand. We make wax canvas aprons. We have double hinged wine openers that are fish shaped as well as classic shaped. That's our newest line that are not quite fish shaped. We do oyster shuckers, we do pocket knives, and we have our chef knife set. And these again are handmade, so we offer certificates of authenticity. We make them in limited runs with certain types of wood. So for example, the one we're working on now, the maker got a battleship deck from a retired battleship. So we're gonna make the handle out of that. So we're trying to create these stories and these interesting products. So my challenge question, I don't even know if I've gone anywhere near 6 minutes.
Oh, yeah, 1 minute left.
Okay, I was looking for the sign. So the challenge question is, we've been focused primarily on working wholesale with retail stores. So we're noticing that there's a downtick in the revenue from that, because we're noticing a lot of customers going direct online to purchase. So being non-experienced in a product-based business, how do we create that online direct-to-consumer strategy so that we can move more in that direction as everything starts to change? So that's our challenging question.
Let's give them a round of applause. So before we go into this amazing feedback that we're going to get from everybody, I want to do a couple administrative things real quick. So you should have a card in front of you. Please put your name, phone number, email address, or something in front of you. And what I'd like you to do with this is provide your feedback on this, to include the information that you tell him, because after this, he's going to get a lot of information over the next 30 to 45 minutes. It's going to be hard to retain that, and this is the way that he's going to retain that information. So please put your feedback on this card. Also, make sure that the feedback that you give, is uplifting and positive, and not Shark Tankish. Yes, make sure that he's able to receive it in a way that he can use this information to take it back and improve his business. And let's have some fun with this. I am one person. I may not be able to see all of your hands. Just remind me that your hand is up. When you raise your hand, like my friend over here is raising his hand, when you go to speak, I need you to say the name of your company, your name, and then ask the question. Are we good?
We're good.
All right, let's go. And so we're going to start over here with
Thank
Jeff. Thank you, Jeff.
Outstanding presentation, outstanding business. Congratulations
Yeah, I
on
appreciate
this.
it.
My ask of you, or my suggestion to you would be, you have a nice base of customers over the last several years.
We do, yes, sir.
Keep going back to them.
Mhm.
That's one. Two is something you mentioned, your latest knife set is you're actually getting that from a battleship.
Yes.
That wood is called planks.
Yes.
And there are officers and enlisted who are served on that ship. You need to go to the Navy, see if there's any information at all you can get from them who served on that ship.
Yeah.
And but this is an amazing product. You should be congratulated because coming from just going from a cigar box in the stores to this, that's huge.
Thank you.
All
I
right?
appreciate it.
But you need to figure out a plan. My ask of you is to figure out a plan in case there's something goes on with the economy that it takes a downturn.
Right.
What are you going to do? How are you going to keep this business alive and thriving in a downturn?
Yep.
Because these are the kinds of things that usually go by the wayside.
Right. Okay, I appreciate
That's my
that.
suggestion.
Hi, Rosemary Savino with Gravitate. Second Jeff's comment, great presentation, looks like a wonderful set of products. I noticed that the retail entities you're in right now all have websites.
It is.
So is your product available online through them already?
It is.
Okay.
And we have a MAP policy, so we maintain pricing integrity.
Okay.
Yeah.
When do you direct ship based on their online orders, or do you ship to their warehouse and they ship on your behalf?
Depends on the supplier. So some of them we have a drop ship arrangement, some of them they order and take it in-house.
Okay.
So it just depends on the supplier.
So if you're not on Amazon,
Okay.
if you are able to,
Mhm.
Amazon side, when you drop ship yourself, include your website information and a referral perk.
Okay.
And this way, people will come directly to your website in the future.
Okay.
They will know you have a website as opposed to being a brand of Ruger, Uncommon
Right,
Goods, or
right.
things like that.
Okay.
And you'll begin to build that referral with like-minded people. Someone will
Okay.
say, hey, that's great, where'd you get it?
Okay.
And then the fallback of unique men's gifts on SEO, SEM can't hurt you in any
Right.
way.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Thank you.
yeah.
So, Sean, what are the Tony Barnett and Goal resources? In our discussion the other day, I said I had this idea that I wanted to share with you, but I hadn't written
Yes.
it today. Okay. Where you're at, see, we get so many companies that are just starting up, some that even have just an idea.
Okay.
You are now in full-fledged operational mode. You have thousands of customers across the country. You're at the point now, especially with the release, and I'm agreeing with Jeff on this, is that with the knives coming up, you're at the point now where maybe hiring a public relations firm
Okay.
to start getting you on like news shows and TV shows and featured someplace.
Okay.
All right, because public relation firms have those resources to get you someplace.
Okay.
You have the infrastructure in place to be able the ability to order online already.
Right.
Once you get that one TV appearance,
Okay.
boom, it takes off, because then,
Okay.
especially with the knives,
Yeah.
that'll reach the military wives. The wives of these people who served on that ship.
Yeah.
They're the ones who are going to be ordering this stuff as gifts for their husbands or their
Right.
spouses. If it's the other way around, if it was women who served.
Okay.
I think you're at that that point now to
Yeah.
do that.
And we've played with hiring a PR firm, just haven't been real comfortable with it, just not knowing who had good credibility. Because sometimes you commit to these and you get no return. So we're trying to play with finding that good.
Well, fortunately, you're in a spot where you can take the time to find one that's the right fit,
Yeah.
someone who has the right attitude.
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah, I love that idea. Thank you.
Hi, Ann Rosenblum, Fairfax County Economic Development Authority. What I have to say is kind of a variation of what Tony just said. I was gonna ask specifically if you have a good social media person, somebody who's, has experience with promoting products.
So we have, what do we call her? She's a millennial, and we call her awesome millennial, because every time we have a social media question like how do we log in, we go to her. And she laughs at us. So we do not have a specific social media person. That's one of the things we're trying to do, is kind of learn how to do that. One of the challenges we have is everything that we do in my chiropractic practice. I did a lot of that in a small market. I don't know how to do it nationwide, and the other challenge is with them being knives, we get rejected a lot. So our pocket knives, our wine openers have a blade on the back of it for cutting the foil. They'll get rejected for that purpose. So we're having a hard time of making the product shoppable on social media, or even linking the website to it. So that's one of the challenges that we're having. We're having some success, but it's very limited as far as what we can get onto being directly shoppable. But yeah, I would love to learn more about that, because I think that's the biggest push that we could have, in the short term.
Jen?
I don't think I saw any video, and even if you had it, if that was my impression, you don't have it. So I would recommend, for the stories that you can share,
Okay.
right, capture the story of the craftsmanship and what this person was trying to create, because the heirloom piece is really powerful, and it's that customized piece that I think people absolutely want to commemorate something.
Yeah.
And so I would come up with stories about customers.
Okay.
I think as well as the referral perk, I would actually feature a story in any package you send out, right?
Okay.
Recently had someone blah, 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 right? And so I think there's a lot around the experience that you can
Great.
share, and I would absolutely include video as part of your strategy.
Absolutely.
Jeffing under Zona Systems Operational Cybersecurity, just a real point on what Tony said. I wrote this down so you have to remember, but this is for everybody here in the audience. Tony mentioned PR. There's a free opportunity for you.
Okay.
It's called Harrow.com.
Okay.
Harrow stands for Help a Reporter Out.
Okay.
Go on there and see what you can find. Maybe there's a reporter out there who's willing, especially someone in Norfolk, which is a huge naval, the largest naval base in the world.
Yeah.
You talk about that one item, they'll take off.
Okay. Okay. Great idea. Thank you.
Ken Portnoy, Tyson's Regional Toastmasters. A great presentation. I really appreciate the quality of preparation. In your description of your current successes, you had 3 different markets that sort of stick out in my mind. The first was corporate gifts, the second was groomsmen's gifts, the third was realtor gifts.
Yes.
And it seems to me that you've got success in those areas, expanding in those areas would be worthwhile, and that each of those has different distribution channels for publicity.
Yes.
And so how do you get more placement in brides magazines? How do you get more placement in realtors magazines?
Yeah.
Or whatever, if it's not paper-based, whatever the channels are for those 3 is something that, and that they're very different and will require different approaches. And I don't know whether you've got a plan to expand in those areas or not, but that's one area I would suggest.
We're working with some of the nationwide realtor companies to try to get it on as approved vendors for their organization. So I am working on those. That's a great idea. Yeah.
And corporate gifts, there are lots of guys with catalogs for corporate gifts.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay.
Dr. Bob Johnson, Health Awareness Ventures. It's more of a question. Do you just classify all these as gifts, or are they kitchen utensils, or?
So we classify them more as tools. So when we're speaking, we're talking about their tools, because right now we are in the wine industry, the pocket knife and the chef knife, so that we have plans to expand into other aspects. So we like using more of the word tool, for whatever reason you need a tool for a given purpose. So a kitchen tool or a wine tool.
Because I think the audience you're trying to appeal to, if it's always just a gift,
Right.
people go, well, I don't really need a gift.
Exactly. Yeah.
I need this tool, but I don't,
Yeah, so our branding is all geared more towards that. But what we find is when we're out doing retail shows, the verbiage and the interaction is more about, well, I'm gonna get this gift for so and so. So, but yeah, we try to bring it more towards the tool aspect. Yeah, that's a good point, because I feel like the gift kind of narrows us down quite a bit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
My name is Amara DeCure. I'm with Paragon Education Consulting. And I think 50 some odd years ago, or maybe more, I would understand why you're marketing this for a men's audience.
Mm-hmm.
But I think today you'd be leaving out a huge clientele by not considering the impact that your tools could have on women
Mm-hmm.
and women's tools, needs, and what have you.
Yeah.
And if your messaging directly or indirectly continues to communicate that this is placed for men, it may give a false impression that your company is left from the 1950s and not forward thinking.
Gotcha.
So rugged, classic, I think those are great words to describe your product, but I think that at least from a back end, you should be open to marketing it across the spectrum.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because we initially presented and felt like we were gifts for women. My wife was the designer of the product. She likes, classy, more rugged products and everything. So we felt like we were more of that entity. So we're wide open to that. It's just every time we got in front of the customer, they immediately, just like he said, or with him with the gifts, they turn it into we're gonna buy this for our husband, or so that's where that verbiage came from, was our experience in the marketplace. But as far as we as a company are, we're absolutely open to marketing to women. So yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, John Rittenberg, CCC Solutions. I echo everyone who said, great presentation, so excited for you. I wanted to go back and maybe blend some of what the last two questioners mentioned. Your opening remarks about your problem was a great one. That was in so many words, wives don't know what to buy their husbands.
Right, correct.
Okay, and so echoing what was just said, we may tailor that message in the future slightly different because it goes both ways now.
Absolutely.
For sure,
Absolutely.
particularly in the military, apropos to the earlier comments. So defining the channels based on each of your populations. So the outdoors people,
Yes,
chefs.
yes.
Initially, I wrote men's chefs, but with respect to what you said, chefs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chefs want your package. Realtors, by the way, I don't know how many thousands of realtors there are in this region, let alone in America.
Yeah.
But just because they are a recurring purchaser. So each of those requires a different strategy, but they're reachable. I have clients who sell to realtors, so maybe later we can offline discuss
Absolutely.
some of what they're doing.
Okay, absolutely.
Rosemary Savino, again, gravitating still. You didn't touch on it because I think you only had 6 minutes to go through it. You mentioned social media, but you didn't mention whether or if you're planning to, or what your budget looks like for digital ads. So do you do it? If you don't, are you planning to? And in either case, do you have a budget set aside for it?
Do I do it? No.
Okay.
All right. Am I planning to? I am open to it. I don't know how this works with the
Right,
internet.
okay.
That's what I call the World Wide Web.
So I got it. If your millennial doesn't know, there are
Yes.
plenty of digital marketing experts here and,
Okay.
and where you are that can help.
Wide
But
open to that, yes.
if you want to focus, and I would recommend it in your first outings, don't just buy keywords, but also look into running ads on things like wedding registry sites, realty sites,
Yep.
and places where you've already had good
Traction, maybe.
traction in those industries, where you can use, to Jen's point, you can say, look, we've already been successful selling because then you've got your built-in referrals, your built-in audience,
Yeah.
and then from there you can take that success and find adjacent markets.
Like it. Okay.
I wrote it down already.
I like that. Thank you.
My turn?
Yes.
Okay, I got about 5 things like that. First question is, who is selling this?
So I do some of our key account sales. Being involved in our other two businesses, I don't do it a whole lot. We have a sales rep back in Florida that manages our wholesale accounts and does a lot of our stuff with us.
You know, I guess my question is, who are the retailers? Yeah, if you will.
Retailers, okay, so we have some, the largest one we have is Tommy Bahama. It's more the small boutiques that are carrying the products for us. One of the challenges that we've had with the bigger opportunities is our packaging, because they come in a drawstring bag. And because they're customized, we've had a hard time with the logistics of how to get it into a package that could be hung up and thrown into a larger retailer. So we've had some retailers knock us off and have done a really bad job of it, some bigger ones, but that's one of our challenges. We haven't been able to get into those two accounts because of our packaging.
I got about 5 questions. One of my comments is that make sure that you are not, if you go on the web or if you're selling through the web, that you don't undercut your people who are selling for you in the stores.
We actually put our website pricing $2 higher than our map pricing, so if anybody searches us, we're protecting their retailers.
Okay, and the next question is, are you registering your buyers so that when they get the thing, they can register because you have some kind of a guarantee, and are you using that as a marketing tool?
We capture their information, but we have not had them register. That's a great idea.
And reaching out to writers, you already mentioned that, putting in your catalogs. Like when I was worked for a company that they get sales promotions. If you sell this much, you can order this, and
Gotcha.
getting those kinds of catalogs.
Okay.
And apparently, you are looking at outdoor stores.
It's a great name. Sterling Brook.
So my wife was born in Sterling Brook, and when she was 2 years old, her parents changed her name to Kelly Brook. So I always loved the name Sterling. So when she started doing this, she wanted to kind of be anonymous. So I was like, let's go with Sterling Brook. That's what we did.
it's a Jen Belton brand mirror. I don't have a sense of how many you're trying to sell, right?
Okay.
So if you look at 2020, I don't know if you're trying to sell 100,000, 50,000. So the things I'm going to say will depend on what you're trying to do
Okay.
and who you're targeting. I do think for your website, carving out pages for those specific audiences, for chefs, for custom gifts, etc.,
Okay.
would be really important
That's a good
from
idea.
a keyword search and all of that.
Absolutely.
And I would love for you to look at strategic partnerships. Like I could see you doing custom logos for wineries, for winery subscription kits.
Yeah.
I could see you sending one of these to Gordon Ramsay with Hell's Kitchen on it, right? So it depends on what you're trying to do.
Okay.
The high-end luxury fishing trips, right? This should be the gift that welcomes their people.
Yeah.
So depending on the numbers and depending on your bandwidth and marketing strategy, if you could speak to how much capacity and bandwidth do you have, right? Can you only do 3 things, 1 thing? What are you really trying to do next year that would be awesome as far as someone who's not a client
Yeah.
or a group that's already growing, but you want to really push it over the edge? I mean,
Yeah.
Boy Scouts, right?
Yeah.
An Eagle Scout knife. I mean, so I'm just trying to, can you help me understand, and the group understand too, what's your number 1 priority for next year as far as where you're marketing and who you're marketing to?
So my opinion is building that retail aspect of it and working with groups that we can leverage that. So realtors, where we're getting larger orders in just one-offs.
Right.
So Boy Scouts, things like that. I love those ideas of doing strategic alliances with different groups. I think that we have the bandwidth right now to maybe go 2 or 3 different lines to focus this year, and then depending on the success of those, we can bring more team members on and more production good capabilities.
Okay.
So I think that we have like a 2 to 3 stream of revenue bandwidth right
So
now.
you want to pick a few partnerships
Yeah, yeah.
in those different customer segments.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Tom Young with Dragon's Financial Advisors. I love the presentation, by the way, and the products look incredible.
Thank you.
The photography is great. One of the things that I think, as you're moving online, you probably know your end customer pretty well, because right now you're directly selling to wholesalers, so you know and talk their language.
Correct.
And I'm pretty sure you know your end customers, whether it's women or men, what their ages are, what their demographic.
Yeah.
The suggestion I'd have is, as you're moving online, to keep that customer in mind when you decide what platform you use to, like somebody was mentioning online advertising, because when you take a look, let's say, imagine Facebook right now. What is the average demographic on Facebook? A lot of people are actually surprised. It's actually women in their mid-40s.
Right.
And that's because everyone younger has moved on to Instagram because of the privacy issues. People who are older haven't really used it that much.
Right.
And so if you're advertising on, if your target market are women in their 40s, Facebook is perfect. If it's men in their 50s, use LinkedIn. And keep in mind, like Instagram looks very tempting, but everyone there is under 29 or so. And so buying a $100 corkscrew is kind of a stretch. And the other thing too, like don't discount things like HGTV and other sites that if that's where your target market is and they're like in their 70s, then they shop on HGTV.com.
Absolutely. Okay. Thank you.
Hi, my name's Tiffany from Bear Accounts. So a quick question for you and then a follow-up is, do you send, when you were kind of expanding into these wholesalers and shops, did you send like promotional, like kind of gifts and show them what the quality is?
We didn't. We primarily expanded through the wholesale trade shows like America's Market, because touching it and feeling it, that weight is important. And that's why we also do the retail shows where we go to junior leagues, because they can pick it up and feel it. Once they pick it up, it's usually sold.
Got it. Yeah, I figured once they see it, they
Yeah.
use it, right? So, so my idea was a little bit more like the Oprah-esque effect, where Oprah's favorite things
Yes.
instead of Oprah, since she's not really on her show anymore,
Yeah.
network. Thinking about YouTube influencers.
Yep.
So I don't know if your amazing millennial has already thought about that and have targeted.
We're trying to figure out how to find them. We just came up with this week, so we're trying to figure out how to find them.
Okay, great. So my other half, who enjoys watching all these outdoor shows, and
Okay.
I end up going on these YouTube journeys with him. And I do not have the time for this, but it just happens. My osmosis. There are a crazy amount amount of shows out there about these outdoor people who
Okay.
are outdoor fishing and they're cooking on the side of the beach or in the woods. I don't know, people do this,
Yeah.
right? But they're using all these tools because they're out there, right? And
Yeah.
I can totally see one of your products on that kind of show. These people get 1 million views, like
Yeah.
all the time on their videos. I'm like, how many people are watching this?
Yeah.
And it's like trying to find a way, because if you had them promote it, I'm sure you have to pay them.
Right.
But if sending them like a free gift and they really love it and they use it on their show, what happens in the comments, people are like, hey man, where'd you get that like knife? And it just takes off from there and they start just including it next time and then you get a free ad on,
Yeah.
like, on their show. So.
And hopefully go viral. I've
Huh?
learned that term.
That's
too.
what
Go
it
viral.
is. Like
Yeah.
these people are amazing. Like they get millions. And I'm like, you're just there watching somebody like catch fish
Yeah.
and gut it and then cook it and
Yeah.
get like millions of views. So.
Okay, awesome. Good, thank you. Good.
Yeah, Reggie Holmes, Anthony's Creative. So my ideas were kind of similar, just tapping influencers that can make people more aware of your products. And then also along those lines, like activating your current customers and clients. Like it'd be great to know, you know, when they use the product, like them shoot a short video and just post that to your page or to your social media. So people love to hear about how other people are using this cool new thing, or you know the impact that it's making on you know their life. So I think that's an easy thing to do as you're selling the product. Provide a way for people to provide that instant, immediate, you know, reaction to holding it in their hands and to using it, you know, for whatever they want to use it for. And then also another idea is there are a lot of these meal kit services where people order, you know, prepared meals or food that they prepare, and it is shipped to their house. So
Yeah.
I think, and what I've noticed, you know, using a couple of them, now they're starting to include other add-ons and upgrades.
Okay.
And so I think because these are people that are already comfortable with, you know, buying something and having it shipped to their home, and they're interested in the experience of it all. Like
Yeah.
your product really adds to the experience. You know, I can get a knife anywhere, but
Right.
this is a particular type of knife
Yeah.
that has a story behind it. So I think you can work with some of those meal kit companies and provide a nice upgrade or add-on to that experience.
I like that.
And it kind of, that's in your market as well.
Okay, I like that. Thank you.
So, do you do any email marketing like newsletters?
We do, yes, ma'am. Not necessarily newsletters, but different promotions, like we're doing sales on the website. We keep in touch with our retailers through email, and we call them as well.
So you should capture an email for the people who buy it. All those emails are that is very important for you.
Yeah.
And what you could do is, you know, once a month, send a promotion and send a video like how they make their knives.
Yeah.
Something attractive, I think is the people think that it's not important, but it's very important in email marketing. So that's one.
Okay.
The other thing, you know, the museums. I love go to the museum, but my favorite thing is go to the stores.
Yes.
And women were crazy going to the stores and the museums.
Yeah.
So that is an incredible place that you just can leave the material and if they sell, then you go back to sell it. So I think there are hundreds of museums in Richmond, the history museums that will buy your products.
It's a great idea. Thank you. Yeah.
Kat Dowling with Relief Gift, and building on what Jen was talking about with the strategic partnerships. What I saw here with the knives and things, it screamed to me, and maybe I'm dating myself, Guy Harvey, and
Yeah.
and I just saw that kind of fitting into the people who buy Guy Harvey stuff, and like if it was with the fish and the marlins and all that stuff, I don't know, I just saw that kind of screaming out to me, and I looked on Guy Harvey's website, they have nothing like
Okay.
this.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, so you may have said this in the beginning, but one of the, have you targeted and worked on developing the corporate gift market?
I have made efforts in the last several months to try to establish how to get into that market. And we kind of accidentally come across this, so I'm contacting the people that have bought from us to kind of find out, how do I find more of you?
Yeah, because you are perfectly suited for the corporate gift market. Every holiday season, the bigger corporations give out fancy gifts to their customers.
Yeah.
Some do wine, some do fruit baskets. This is something specialized that would knock people's socks off, as you said, once they hold it in their weight.
Yeah.
And a company is sending it out to the CEOs and presidents of their customers, the owners of their customers and stuff like that. This would work, and there are markets that are doing that. Also, the high-end trade show gift market.
Okay.
You already have a foot in the door doing trade shows.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing, marking these out as high-end gifts or customized tailored gifts. Come up with something that people will give out at a trade show booth as a takeaway.
Yeah, gotcha.
All right,
Okay.
where now instead of sitting there and having people online ordering, one knife or two knives, or some, a bottle opener, now you're having someone that's ordering, say, 5,000-6,000 of them.
So you're saying go into the vendors that are in these high-end trade markets as a giveaway for them to attract people to their booths.
Bingo.
I
Yes.
love that idea. Yeah.
Because that way you get one order of, say, 1,000 units, and you'll be making a lot more money off of that than having your staff customizing 1,000 with, the name Bobby or Jim or whatever.
Right. I like that.
Okay.
So I get to ask a question. Donnell or Vision. So my recommendation is people love to win stuff, right? And when you're mailing these people their beautiful gift set, in there, you put the information down there in the QR code where they can click it, register their gift, and also register to win a beautiful knife set or something like that. And you can give out a gift every month, but in turn for that, they have to do a video with it or something like that. And so it gets people to come back to your website to see if they won.
Yeah, I like that. That's great. Absolutely.
That's a good idea.
Kind of combining everything.
All right, talking about gifts. By the way, I'm Sylvia with Office Evolution. So talking about gifts, I'm always looking for unique gifts. And not too long ago, I went to Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and we visited the Amish. And I found a bread knife because that was unique, and they also had wood, and that, because it was so different, I picked it up, and I'm always looking for unique gifts. Like at one time I had like wooden earrings, they were light, or if there's a necklace with engravings that would attract me as a woman, or I don't know, so you can add that, or just so it's more like balanced, not just focused on the man, but also on the women.
Absolutely.
Or like, I don't know how you say it, for the pots, when you cook and they're hot, have those wooden
Like pot holder things.
hot holders,
Yes.
and just make it like for the family, last name or established, like a wedding gift or something. So I was just thinking the Amish have usually very nice, creative ideas, and it's different. You can't really get that anywhere else.
That's a good idea. Maybe go and visit them and brainstorm with them.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Hello again.
Hey.
So I was just glancing over Jen's shoulder, and I noticed your page on Oyster Shuckers.
Yes.
Event planners do a lot of clam bakes. They do a lot of special big high-end parties.
Yes.
When you start to think about sort of targeting some additional channel partners, if you want to start doing repeats of, instead of one-offs, if you want to start doing quantities of the same kind of thing, the target may be those event planner entities where they do big, like, my husband's what do you call it, fraternity, whenever they have their annual fundraiser, they do an oyster roast or bake or whatever the hell they call it, but that kind of thing. So you can probably find those event planners fairly easily, but going to them with your thing and this is a great extra, blah blah, they can add margin on it, so it's kind of a win-win.
We've done that with wedding planners. I've never gone with event planners. That's a good idea.
Think about it.
That's a
So
really
you
good
can, and then event planners also do corporate events as well as, so.
Yeah, I like that.
I would consider adding gift certificates to your website.
Okay.
And another thought I had, which I'm conflicted with myself about sharing this idea. However, with Donnell's idea about monthly drawings, if you're a wife, if Kelly did a limited edition set, right, where there's only so many,
Yeah.
That could be a good marketing play, and I know it's not selling 1,000, right?
Yeah.
But it could be a really good marketing play where it's a limited design, it's custom made by Sterling Brooke.
Yeah.
Going back to the battleship idea, there's limited quantities you can make. So that may not be where you want to spend a lot of time, but I would think about, is it worth doing a few
Yeah.
that really would get people's attention and attract good media?
One of the things that we thought about, and I love that idea, is how the Franklin Mint used to do the different collector's
Right,
pieces?
yes.
Yeah, we do, for example, our scales design, which is not on here. So this is our 2018 scales, because our scales was our most popular. So each year she does a different design on the scales. So coming up with different collector's items like that to make it where each customer is not just a one-off customer, they actually collect them and maybe have a case where they actually collect them and things like that.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I love that idea. We haven't figured out how to make it happen yet, but that's a
It's
great
like there
idea.
was a huge historic tree in my hometown,
Okay.
and it was cut down and made into 25 different knife sets, right?
Yeah.
And so that limited edition idea, depending on whether it's something important for chefs or something important for a town or a locality.
Yes.
I love a battleship, like that type of idea.
Yeah.
It's worth pursuing because it's a lot of press play you could get around that.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah.
Yes, Ann Rosenblum again. I was just wondering, with regards to a channel strategy, have you thought about the Hamacher Schlemmer catalog? 'Cause
What's
they
that?
have the Hamacher Schlemmer catalog.
I have
yeah.
not, no.
Because they have so many unique things like this that I would think that it might be a good fit.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. I haven't looked at that.
By the way, can we get a quick idea? This is Tom Young, by the way. Can we get a quick idea of what your margin is? Like, is it going to be worth advertising directly, like direct mail, or the margin's not quite large enough just to stay something like that?
The margin is on retail is about 68% right now. The tariffs have kind of dug into it a little bit. So about 68% on most of our products. We try to get that there. No, I'm sorry. That's our wholesale margin. Our retail margin is about 82%.
Okay, that makes more sense.
So we do have that margin for being able to direct mail advertising, but it's only like each wine opener is like a $22 margin on it. So it would take a lot of wine openers to warrant that. So that's where we kind of have some hesitation.
So you'd need to sell like a knife set at $100 to make it even worthwhile to start sending mail or something.
Right, yeah. Or multiple pieces, so they come to the website, maybe multiple pieces to make the transaction size bigger.
So one suggestion I have, by the way, just a little bit of an aside, Mason SBDC is actually having a talk about local SEO. I know you're selling nationwide, but local SEO is actually way easier than nationwide SEO. So take a look, you might want to take a look at their conference that they're having.
Absolutely, okay, thank you.
My one question is let's say everybody left the room today, and they had like some celebrity come and promote your stuff. Would you be able to handle like
the volume
of orders?
As long as we had the lead time to get the product in. So we carry an inventory of maybe 5,000, 10,000 pieces at a time. So if it got above that, we'd have to have lead time to get it shipped over to us. So we probably like a 75 to 90 day lead time. But as we've grown, we used to carry 1,000 units. So we've grown to where we carry more and more inventory. So as we grow, we'll have more and more capacity. Our production, we can handle quite a bit on production. It's just a matter of getting the inventory in.
I hope you're ready for some certain sports teams that maybe you should commemorate.
I'm very ready for that. Yeah, let's be rooting for it.
Finish the fight.
I just figured out what y'all were saying when y'all said go Naps. We just moved here from Florida, so I was like, we're not familiar with that. Y'all said that. What are they saying? I finally kicked the place. So got it. Not K and ATS. Yes.
Hi, my name is Flynn Peterson with People Stretch Solutions. Having worked with a lot of people who get a good idea and who are doing it well, and it takes off, it grows, and you make more money, and it's, we call that successful.
Yep.
But you got to make sure that you don't let the horse pull the cart in terms of your lifestyle, relationship dynamics, the money you need as opposed to extra zeros you don't. I've just seen a lot of people who jump in that river, and it's exciting for a while, but it gets colorful.
Yep. Yeah, we've done that, and luckily, I think we recovered from it, but yeah, we've experienced that.
You gotta keep an eye, 'cause
Absolutely.
success has a way of chewing you up.
Yeah, we've got 4 kids at home, so we have to keep that balance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Going back to the strategic partnership, and you're coming from the South, so coming from Florida.
Yes.
Something you might want to consider is partnering with colleges, especially the SEC. I know when I've done tailgating for Gator games and things like that, there's a lot of people who are doing oyster shucks.
Yeah.
You know, those oyster roasts, and they come with money. They're looking for those unique things that make them stand out.
And very attached to that.
Yes.
College, yes,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah.
So the last question goes to me.
Okay.
So the question is what can our 1 Million Cups community do for you?
You know, honestly, just the brainstorming, being around other like-minded business owners, because coming from where we were in Florida, we didn't have organizations like this. So just being in the environment, having people that speak the language and are doing things that are beyond what we are even comprehending is just eye-opening. So love that.
So for our audience today, first give yourselves a round of applause for the amazing. I really appreciate everybody's feedback that came with today, because I believe that you have a bunch of new customers for Sterling Brooke. Since your wife doesn't take the name anymore, you guys can call me Sterling from here on out. And we want to give you, even though it's not, you can't burn it in here, but we want to give you our 1 Million Cups cup that you can put alongside, with your growth. And don't forget us little people.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Jen?
So for the next 2 weeks, we have, that's not right. Well, we have audience. Is that new?
Yeah, that's next week.
Audience is next week, and then we have Learner's Cube after that, getting us into November. 11:20, we have Momentology at 11:27. There's no meeting Thanksgiving week. It's not that we don't love you or that we're not thankful for you. We are. We're just going to take a break that week. Audience next week is awesome. It's a platform that helps you understand how to engage and understand customer engagement through digital media platforms. Learner's Cube is a training company that works with organizations implementing technology to help increase adoption and productivity for employees. So both of those are very interesting. Please bring a guest. We had a good turnout today. We usually do, so thank you for that. If you have business owners who are interested in presenting, they can be an idea. They can be an awesome growing business. They run the gamut. We really are here to help them grow. It's free feedback. I don't want us to be the best kept secret. So please share, invite people, and let them know. And again, you can apply 1millioncups.com/verify. So thank you, everybody, and we will see you next week. Have a great Halloween.
Oh, happy hour.
Happy hour.
Happy hour.
Happy hour.
Happy hour.
Single-minded people. Work hard, play hard. I got it. Happy hour, November.